and China are the two biggest countries in the world. Considering that the both nations are neighbors, rivalry between them is inevitable. Last few months have been rough for both India and China. And today we will try to compare how strong India can stand against China. In last couple of decades, with huge economic boom, Chinese military has been able to amass quantitative and qualitative advantage over Indian military. But the amount of units do not always represent the available firepower for combat. China has able to build an enormous infrastructure in Aksai Chin area. China has deployed HQ-9 SAM batteries surrounding the area. HQ-9 is seemingly similar to the Russian S-300 with a range of 300 km. It can possibly deny Indian Air Force air sorties in surrounding territory. And Indian Air Force SEAD capabilities are still questionable. China has also deployed light tanks and mechanized divisions in Aksai Chin, which can be a big threat for Indian integrated battle groups in the area. So it seems that PLA has a pretty strong foothold in Aksai Chin. But how effective will these arrangements will be against Indian Army? Indian troops still have a better supply lines and military logistics because Indian military depots are relatively closer to Ladakh region. It means India will be able to redeploy and reinforce their troops much more quickly than China could. China will take over a month to heavily redeploy and reinforce its troops in the Ladakh region. And if Indian Air Force manages to sustain air superiority in area, India will be able to harass all Chinese attempts to reinforce their forces, even in Tibet. Indian Air Force has a pretty huge airlift fleet. India can deploy at least 2 divisions in just 3 days. Over the top of logistical, altitude and air advantage, Indian troops in Kashmir are actively fighting and are battle hardened. Unlike Chinese troops, which haven't seen a day of combat after Vietnam War. The possibility of naval battle between India and People's Republic of China is pretty high in this situation, but we shall talk about that in different video. The only way China can gain an advantage against Indian forces is in preemptive strike, but even that might not be a very favorable idea for PLA, because Indian forces are on high alert and are actively exercising in Ladakh region. And if India does the same and attacks on China preemptively, China will have to go back and cannot sustain an attack by Indian forces. If the war escalates into nuclear regime, then we'll have to change the entire narrative. And it will involve lots of variables that we should talk about in some other video. If you like these kind of videos, then just subscribe and press the bell icon and also share the videos. Thank you very much.